Welcome to the Joyfully Golden podcast. We're excited to share today's episode.
If you've enjoyed any of our episodes, make sure to like it, share it with someone who may also enjoy it, and subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date with our latest content.
Enjoy today's episode. We are all here for a short while. When we are young, life seems infinite. The sands of time in our life's hourglass, plentiful. As we age, life seems to accelerate, and at some stage we begin to wonder, what is the point of life? What are the consequences to the decisions we make? Does anything we do matter, or does nothing matter at all? And either way we look at life, it keeps going, with or without us. And if there is meaning in life, are we making the most of that meaning? Or are we simply letting life lead us to our final destination without ever caring about the consequences along the way? In today's episode, we look at life, its value, and what we think appears to be its purpose.
Andrew, what, in your opinion, is the point of life?
That is a very weighted question. And I think it's very complicated, but also sometimes I think it's actually quite simple. I think the point of life is to be the best that you can be. And here's why. This is why I think that. Because when you are at your best, you're in a position to help other people. When you're at your best, you value the worth of the life that you've been given. And when you're at your best, you become a model inspiration for other people to follow. Just like how we talked in our last episode, where when you're motivated by people that, do the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
So if you become the best version of yourself, I think that is the meaning of life.
Wow.
Because then that will allow you to spread that positive sense to everyone around you. Joy, can you think of an experience that gave your life meaning?
Let's see. Yeah, one of the instances that come to my mind is I'm not going to go into too many details because this is definitely a story for another episode. But there was a season in my life with my family in which things got a little difficult just because of the position that my dad held at the time and the political climate in my country. And long story short, we had to leave the country and we were in Kenya for a little bit. And at some point, things got really difficult just because of everything that was going on. But long story short, I ended up spending a good 3 to 4 months, me, my mom, and all my siblings. And we were kind of like in hiding / just difficult conditions. And I literally have some of the best memories of my life during that time and the amount of time that I was spending with them, because we couldn't go to school, so obviously we're always together, and there were a lot of things to worry about, and money-wise some things were difficult too and things like that. But the bond I feel like I was able to find with them and the memories that we share, it literally rocks me, and I'm not even sure why necessarily, because I think I don't remember, I was maybe 17, 18. So I think I was already in the place where I could, I had thought, I guess, a good amount about life and all that. But that experience just put so many things in perspective to me for some reason. And moving from that, all I could possibly think about is how a lot of the things that we think we need in order to be happy and to enjoy life, we actually don't need. And one of the most basic thing that we all need to actually enjoy life is people to love and people to love on us. And that was, because obviously it's not necessarily a mind-blowing revelation. It might be pretty basic, honestly. But it just changed my life. Because moving from that, I just had this sense of, no matter where I am in the world, no matter what is going on, no matter how crazy things get, as long as I'm able to have people who love on me and show that love to me through caring and through being present in my life, and I can reciprocate that, there is meaning in what I do. And for the many years of my life to this point to today, that point has been proven over and over and over. I mean, life has been what it has been. There's been crazy, there's been highs, there's been lows, but through it all, every single moment where I'm at just the peak of enjoyment of life, the constant things that I can always see is someone they're loving on me and someone that I can love on. And that, so that experience really shaped a lot of how I see enjoyment and even purpose in life. And it just changed everything. And since then, it's been this ongoing journey of just diving deeper into understanding just how meaningful that moment was and how I can carry meaning with every single season and moment in my life moving forward too. Andrew, do you think it's important or even necessary to ponder on such philosophical questions as the meaning of life, and why or why not?
So, I mean, we already decided that we were going to talk about it. And I think that already during this podcast, we ourselves have been reminded of and found value in what the other ones had to say. And I think that's your answer right there. That it is necessary. Because there's so much in life, I think, that distracts us because there's just all your day-to-day behaviors, habits, everything. But when you kind of step outside... And it's hard when you're in the middle of doing your day-to-day grinds. Every once in a while you get a break or relax or go on a vacation. But to really stop and think, why am I here? What am I doing? What's the meaning of all this? What's it worth? If we fail to ask or discuss that with ourselves or the people that we care about, then we get very short-sighted. Because I think when you look at what are you doing, what are you working towards? I mean, we all will cease at some point. Some of us sooner, some of us later. But there's this idea that what's it for? And if we stop and ask ourselves and we talk about it, then we can have a better understanding of maybe the things that we are doing. Maybe they don't have as much meaning or value anymore.
So good.
Or maybe it's something that we thought was important and it really is, and we should focus more on that. Do you think people would behave differently if there was no meaning to life?
Yes, I believe so. And the reason why, it's actually a very personal reason for me, because there has been a point in my life in which I did believe that there was no real meaning to life. And my behavior was drastically different at that point. And I spent time with a lot of people who thought the same, that the whole point of being here is just to have fun, party, get drunk whenever you can, and then wake up another day and maybe do the same thing again. But no real substance or reason or purpose for us being here. Like, as if all this is just like some kind of random accident and we just do whatever we want, And the reality is that is it's a very sad way to live. And again, I'm speaking a lot from experience. And the main thing is just sad, because although it seems fun, living like that, whatever, party, YOLO, you only live once, and all those things, deep inside, I felt very lonely, and it felt very empty, because I was putting so much effort into this thing that I believe, meant nothing, but it always kept circling back to the question, then what's the point? What's the point of even this, if it's so empty and leaves me feeling every morning just as empty? It doesn't fill me up even a little bit, And so I really do believe that believing that there's no meaning in life, it's not only it's very sad, has negative effects on you. It just yields bad fruits, because a lot of the people that I was close to in that dark season of my life, ended up in very bad places. I almost ended up in a terrible place, but fortunately things changed for me. But it just leads to a lot of ugliness, because when my life stops having meaning for me, then your life stops having meaning for me too. Because if my life is meaningless, your life is meaningless. And then everybody else's life is meaningless. And then what's the point of treating people well? What's the point of caring for people? What's the point of doing good at all? And then it just ripples little by little, and just the potential of where this could take you is so devastating, of what it could do to a person, to genuinely live believing that there's just no point to all this, And so, I truly do believe that there already are some people living devastating and just depressing lives because they believe this. And I really do believe that it's a destructive way of living life, for sure.
First of all, wow.
Yeah.
I really enjoy what we do, but like with today, yeah, it's really impressive. Talking about at the moment when we stop caring about no meaning of life for ourselves, and then other people's lives doesn't have any meaning. It's just like, I think that's why there's so much evil in this world. Is that when you lose sight of what your value or meaning is, of course everyone else is going to be secondary. And I think it's so important, which is why I gave my answer, to be the best version of yourself, because then that allows you to be aware of what you want to see that's good in this world. I think evil things happen because people lose sight of what the value and what the importance is, or they put priorities on things that have no actual meaning. Your life has meaning, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all the actions you take do, or they have that, or that they're a positive meaning. Because it's like, okay, well, why did they do this? Well, they thought this was going to be the right answer, but it wasn't. It was negative. So it's really interesting because with the advancement of technologies, with everything we see, there's so much like instant gratification. And I think it's still the best time to be alive in society for like longevity of life, for opportunity, resources, and you can communicate with like anyone around the globe. However, it's also the most potentially detrimental mentally, I think, in our lives, because we're so short-sighted in all these temporary satisfactions, seeing just everyone else's success day after day after day on YouTube or MySpace, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and then you look at your own life and you may not be satisfied with where you are, or you go to parties and events and then you come back home and you're not satisfied where you are. And then you think, well, what's the point of what I do? I'm never going to be like them. So then you go down this downward spiral. And I think that that's the wrong way of thinking. I think it's a thought process a lot of people have, but I think it's wrong. And I think we need to get back to the main issue, which is your life does matter because you were given this life and you only get it one time. You only live once is not, let's just do whatever. It's no, you only live once. So what are you going to do? And how are you going to impact the people around you because of how you choose to live your life?
Wow.
What are your thoughts?
So well put. Thank you for sharing that. And I mean, honestly, just piggybacking on that, I think it's just the soonest we realize that, like, as soon as we realize that we are valuable and we, like, our own life has value, that we are not an accident, that we were put here for a purpose, and decide to live for that and to discovering that and to grow into that, everything else changes, and our perspective on life, how we treat others, how we treat ourselves, how we treat our time, and everything just changes. So I think not to just because I really feel like I will repeat so much of what you said because it was so well put, but I think one final thought or something to add to that is just, I just want to challenge, someone who may be in that place of feeling like, maybe everybody else's life matters but not mine. What's the point? Or nothing matters at all. Or there's no point to this. Or I just don't even want to be here because there's no meaning to this. I really just want to challenge that person to seek to, or not even to seek first, but just to sit with the fact that, first of all, there's not anyone else like you. Like, you are here. And to me, that means that if you were not needed, you wouldn't be here. Because there is everything else except you.
Right.
And the fact that you are here, it means you are needed. You have a purpose, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. We wouldn't need you because we already have everything else, but not you. And so just sit with that and just realize that your life has meaning and value beyond what you can even comprehend right now. So just accept that and decide to engage in the pursuit of realizing just how amazing what you have inside of you is until letting it out. Because the gifts, the skills, the personality traits, the weird little things about you, like all those things that make you you, they were put in you to serve and to bless the people around you. But they will remain trapped in you until you realize that you have to accept your value and accept that it is worth bringing out and blessing other people with. And once you start looking at yourself and your own life that way, not only your life will obviously change, but you'll be amazed in how you will start treating other people, because it's a domino effect. If my life matters, then yours does too, because I'm not you, you're not me. But if in my uniqueness, my life matters, in your uniqueness, it does too. And then it becomes this thing where it's just love and service and good and positivity that just start radiating from one person to another. And before you know it, in that activity of understanding that your life matters and that other people's life matter, there is something that happens in which you realize that all of this life matters. Because if you matter and the people around you matter, because we make life, then this whole experience matters, and it becomes something beautiful, something you look forward to, something you want to invest in, and something you want to live better than how you found it. Life. It all begins with us gaining consciousness in our mother's wombs. And before we know it, our lungs are activated by our cries, and our eyes are open to a world that we will spend a lifetime trying to understand and navigate. Thus begin the crazy journey we call life. As we take on this adventure, everyone has a theory to offer us about what this really is about. And no matter how many answers we hear, none seems to suffice to answer the question, what's the point of all this? Questions like, why are we here? Or what's the meaning of life? Well, I found one answer that made sense to me and gave me absolute meaning and purpose. Are you ready to hear it? Here it is. The meaning of life is to love and to be loved. I'm not talking just about romantic love, no, but understanding the essence of love's true nature. The more I made myself a vacuum for love, to give, receive, and to be loved, the more exciting, fulfilling, and meaningful and worth it life became. This revelation took me years to process and understand, which I'm still doing, so I don't expect anyone to get this right now. But my advice, however, is make love the center and the focus of your quest for meaning and point of life. Not only you will find the answers you seek, but you will also realize that love is the key. You're going to realize that to love and to be loved is the meaning. And you will realize that love is everything.